We've got windy but clear skies this morning. Hear that? Yeah. There's at least some 30-mile-an-hour gusts. I had everybody's here and doing good. I had the inflatables down over by the shed because the kitty cats needed help. Let me go stand them up. I have to turn them back off. The official amount is 3 2/10. I don't think they're gonna stay up, the 2 cats. The ones with the legs are much harder to deal with than the ones that have a wide base. But for now, it's fixed. It's gonna be in the upper 20s tonight, so I've got to make sure I get water out of anything I don't want frozen. Hey, Panther. Hey, buddy. I still see a little bit of water, and I can hear water behind that big holly tree there where the rocks are, where it falls a good bit. But as you can see, the creek has really gone down this morning, and no harm. Didn't take away our little piece of wood in front of the gnome home. Dawn has a nail's not the right word, a stake, piece of rebar or something going through that piece of wood to hold it in place. So hopefully it won't go anywhere. I mean, it's possible it will at some point, right? It's just a piece of wood. It's gonna wear out or erode, decompose, I think is the word I was looking for. It's a tufted titmouse in the tree there, but it should be good for a little while. Yep, the calm after the storm. We don't have too much cleanup. I mean, when it dries out, the driveway needs blown, and that's about it. So I'm glad. I'm pretty sure Spot came to eat around 6:30 last night, so I think he's eaten. I haven't seen him yet today. Good morning. Hi. Hi, Gray. How are you? Hi. Good girl. It's 11:40 and I'm piddling with Pokemon and telling Don I needed motivation to get out of the car this morning. It's so nice and warm here. And he said just to give him a minute or two. Yeah. And he'd just be asleep and it'd be all good.
Yeah, in the sun here, I'm all good.
It's not that it's cold, it's that it's windy out there today.
Yeah, the wind is blowing pretty good.
Don's already had 3 different calls this morning. And we couldn't leave the house for the one early on, and I don't do good after I sit and then I have to get going again. So I'm trying to motivate here. I'm trying to motivate. You're in trouble.
I think it's the sign.
You're in trouble.
I think it's the sign.
We don't have our weight vest because Don took everything out of the back so Johnny would have lots of room for his stuff.
And he pretty much needed all that room.
Yeah. Well, there's the creek. Moving pretty swift this morning. I love it when it sounds like that. The trails, you know, got a lot of pine straw and leaves on it, but then it did even before the storm, so. Things are still trying to dry up out here. See how this hill up ahead feels this morning with no weight vests on. Enjoy it while we can, enjoy it while we can.
Well, I offered to go back and get the weight vest and meet her up at South Park. She could walk up to South Park while I went and got the weight vest, and I'd drive up to South Park.
I said that's all right.
She didn't take me up on that.
Nope, I sure didn't. You can walk uphill with me to South Park. You look in over here, you can see that part up high is very light colored and sandy. That's because probably the water yesterday was up that high. You know, it comes through here, it washes and cleans the earth, and then it recedes again. It doesn't hurt anything down here when it does that. Yeah, definitely smoothed and washed out over there on the far bank. It's just kind of neat. I would say during the height of the rain yesterday, it probably wasn't, you know, be the best idea to be over here. Although I don't think it came as high as the trail. Well, don't let it fool you. It's still really windy out here. It's nice seeing the people with, I think, 2 Shelties over there enjoying the ball field. Don and I have convinced ourselves that the workers over here now parking are probably for the intersection construction or something else and not for the church anymore. Since the church had its open house.
Yeah, well, you said the guy said there's like 13 projects going on at the city's.
Yep. We got workers needing safe places to park. Well, you were in the sun, but I guess you've come over here now. The sun, it drops out of the sky so quick this time of day. Hey, buddy. He's watching Stripe and Morris on the ground behind me. You don't have to come off the heating pad. Don't cause trouble. Hi, guys. Oh, goodness. Hi, guys. I moved him up here so he would not get into trouble. This was in the sun for a little while and he was over here. I had dried it out this morning. Dripped all the water out of it, but it just doesn't stay sunny there a lot. I've noticed Marty on the bench over here a good bit in the afternoon, but again, it's only going on 4 o'clock and the sun's just already left. So I was in with Johnny for a while, and I'm hearing rummaging under the house, and I guess Don's done with work for the day and he's underneath there doing his rest of his heat pump stuff, which is fine. And we picked up the cat several times today, and I guess I can try one more time because it seems like it's, as we approach sunset, the wind is less, but the wind has taken him down a few times today. As cute as they are, they've got to be sitting on their butt and not standing on 4 legs. Although this guy's sitting on his butt and it's not much better. He has a little more beans in his feet. He's got a little more weight. I'm thinking, I shudder to say that it's almost like, we didn't want to screw stuff into the top of the rain barrels. Well, that's actually the bottom, so that we wouldn't, they wouldn't be ruined for the purpose of collecting rain. And I agree with that. But it's, so if we can't screw things in there, it's almost like we need a piece of wood that we can attach them to. Round preferred. About 4 inches more diameter than the top of the barrel. But yeah, we'll just let that go for now. But if I ever see anything at Guardian Angel, that'll work. I need to build another Jack Skellington house. And I started pulling parts last night. I say I've got 2/3 or better pulled. And I'm going to work on that for a little while. I don't know how it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but it is. I helped Johnny order a new iPhone and another task we needed to do. And we went for a walk late anyway. And so I'm happy to have a few minutes. I should have, I don't know, an hour or two. See how far I can get. I kind of need to speed build it.
Okay, good news. I've got this working now. The lower device down here is new. I started this last spring. It allows you to control me to control the heat strips from my phone or from A. I can turn the local heat on or off, and that will local stops the heat strips from coming on. In other words, if local is on, which would be this one right here, I can simulate that here. You can look, the LED at the bottom is sort of on. That means even if the thermostat calls for heat strips, it won't do it. But the defrost cycle will work. But the thermostat no longer control the heat strips. The other button is the force button, and I can force the heat strips to come on if the yellow light is on. So the yellow wire, the light, which is second stage heat or high speed on the compressor, it goes through this device, and if this force is on, then it will do it. So as long as the thermostat is calling for maximum heat, I mean first and second stage heat, it will allow the heat strips to run. But then when it gets close to the temperature, the thermostat just turns off second stage heat and just runs first stage heat. And in that scenario, when it does that, the heat strips will turn off. Also, this on-off switch just simply disconnects this device so that it has no control. This light isn't affected by the switch. This light is the changeover valve. It's on in heating mode, so right now the changeover valve is active, and in air cooling mode this light will go off. So when it takes a defrost cycle, this light turns off. This green light is first stage, yellow light second stage, red light is the third stage or auxiliary heat. This one, as you can see, it's ran over 24,000 hours over the 10 years we've had it. This has been second stage is run for 3,200 hours, and of course only 225 hours on third stage. So it doesn't run that much. But anyway, this thing was blowing fuses. I had a bent pin that was shorting to another pin, so I fixed that. So I'm going to go under the house now and replace the fuse. I put a 2 amp fuse instead of a 3 amp fuse because I wanted it to blow really quick. So I'm going to put the correct fuse in now, which is a 3 amp fuse, and I'm also going to put a fuse on this, a 1 amp fuse on this up here, so that if something happens to my wiring job here, it'll blow the 1 amp fuse and not affect the 3 amp fuse in the air handler. Okay, I have now installed a 1 amp fuse that goes, this is the main common. It goes to the thermostat, the outdoor unit, and the indoor. It comes from the air handler, goes to the outdoor unit, goes to the thermostat, and it goes up to this 1 amp fuse, which then goes to these two places right here. One of them is the meter panel, and the other one is the new relay I've just installed that will allow me to detect easily when the heat pump takes a defrost cycle. With all the white wires tied together, you can't tell which white wire caused the heat strips to turn on. So you can't just, quote, monitor the white wire. That's not good enough. But this white wire right here is coming from the outdoor unit. It goes up to the one side of the coil on this 24 volt relay, and then the blue wire comes down, of course, to complete the path. So I have 24 volts going to the common on one side of this, to this tan wire, which can go up to the panel, and that will allow me to put a little simple counter up there to count the defrost cycles. The white wire, so the red wire here comes through to the normally open side to this white wire. So whenever that coil picks, the 24 volts will be put onto this white wire, which goes to this bundle of white wires, one of which goes into the air handler to turn on the heat strips. So that way I've now isolated the white wire from the outdoor unit that says it's taking a defrost cycle. So when the outdoor unit calls for the heat strips to come on, it means it's in a defrost cycle, and I can now detect that. But I put the 3 amp fuse back in. Everything's buttoned up. I'm pretty happy with everything. It's still a little, I don't know, a little busy here, for lack of a better way to say it. But at least now I've got a fuse on it, and so hopefully that will prevent any boo-boos, or protect the circuit from any boo-boos that I might have made in the wiring.
Broccoli, egg, cheese, sausage, onion, casserole, and steak.